Day 3. Welcome everybody. It's the Level Up Your Reader's Achievement in the Next 5 Days Challenge, and we are live on Day 3. I am Marnie Ginsberg from Reading Simplified, where it's my mission to help classroom teachers and sometimes homeschool parents streamline their reading instruction and accelerate their students' reading achievement. We're so glad you're here, and I've got my friend, our star student, a first grader who is really reading well above grade level, and we are still helping her move up even higher. She's going to be a stronger reader. She is going to be a stronger speller after these 5 days. Welcome, everybody. If you are just coming in, give my young friend some hearts. Give her some love, please, so she can see them. Sometimes she can see them flying across the screen. She's coming about 25 minutes out of her way to join us, and so we're really thankful. Give her some love. And if you have already tried the activity that we're using in our challenge, thank you, Kathy. Love the love. If you've already tried the activity, let us know how your student or students have done. We'd love to hear from you. Some of you may have done it 2 times. Some of you may have done it 1 time. Some of you may have just joined today and don't know what's what. That's okay. We'll catch you guys all up. Thank you for being here. Again, if you're just showing up, you are part of a 5-day challenge called Level Up Your Reader's Achievement in the Next 5 Days. And if you haven't joined and you're seeing this, you don't know what's what, go ahead and find the post link and click it and sign up. And that way you'll get the free materials that will help you learn how to do this activity. Barbara says, hi, we're glad to have you back from Tennessee. Thank you. If you sign up and get into our private Facebook group, you will receive 2 resources. One of them is this Introduction to Switch It packet, which has word lists. It has how to do the activity and how to give feedback for the activity, which is so critical. And it has letter sound cards. And as I pointed out to folks before, these letter sound cards are really important because they represent each sound separately. And that's so important, particularly for young readers or anyone who is struggling, no matter how old. Welcome, Jen, and we're so glad you're here from Ontario. Excellent. So sign up so you can get this packet and you can catch up if you haven't yet. And you can also get a snapshot informal assessment to help figure out where your student is and what to do with your student. Again, if you are just showing up, let us know where you're from. Let us know if you've done Switch It and how your student has performed. And if you've seen your student progress already, that'd be great. If you're hitting a snag, that's good too, because I'm going to be here to answer your questions. So the way today will go is after I give a little bit of introduction about the main point of today, I'm going to work with my friend doing the activity Switch It. And Switch It is designed to save you, the classroom teacher or the homeschool parent, lots of instructional time. At the same time, it accelerates the student in their achievement. And so after we do that, then I'll answer questions. So please get your questions going. Let me know how your students have done. And we love to see the love so that she is rewarded for her efforts. And also likes and love help get this out into Facebook so more teachers just like you can learn these tips. So a quick review. What is so valuable about Switch It? I mentioned yesterday that what a lot of instruction looks like in classrooms, particularly K2 or any intervention programs, is that it looks like 5 to 10 minutes of letter names or 5 to 10 minutes of letter sounds on top of that. And then they add on phonemic awareness in isolation only. And then curricula often add on decoding, but maybe just 1 word at a time. And then curricula add on high frequency sight words. And then curricula add on handwriting. And then you haven't even gotten to real reading yet. You don't have time for math, science, social studies. How many of you have experienced this? Give me a thumbs up or maybe a thumbs down if you can, because this is the way that a lot of curriculum are being distributed right now, and it's adding up to way too much to do. Just keep stacking it on, everything in isolation, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, and you got 40, 50 minutes, and it's just too much for us to handle in the classroom. Welcome, Lynn. I'm glad you're here from Wisconsin. We're in Wisconsin, aren't we? Mm-hmm. And so instead of stacking one thing on top of the other in isolation, we recommend switch it, which is just dumping all of that and integrating everything at once. What switch it accomplishes is quite impressive. Are you ready to capture all this? Switch it teaches the concept of the alphabetic principle, the concept that letters are pictures of sounds, which is what every reader needs to understand to know that sound matches up with symbol. It also teaches phonemic segmentation, which research has shown is an overwhelmingly predictive factor for good early reading achievement and even comprehension. It teaches phonemic manipulation, which helps the student have strong cognitive flexibility, which is another hallmark of what it makes for a good reader. It teaches letter sound knowledge, whether you're working on the consonants or consonant digraphs or short vowels. And it prepares the way for strong decoding and strong spelling. Welcome, Dana. We're glad to have someone from Alabama. So that's a little bit about Switch It that we've talked about before. The other thing that we mentioned yesterday is the importance of paired contrasts. So that a lot of curriculum, what do? You're going to learn the short E sound. Well, you're going to spend all week doing short E words. And hen and and egg, and the student can get kind of in a cognitive rut. They don't need to think because they know the answer is going to be eh. And that lack of variability kind of tunes the brain out, and so it's very inefficient. Switch It, on the other hand, doesn't let the kid do that. Oh, she's done with her art. You want to show them while I tell them about Switch It? Switch It contrasts vowels, particularly back and forth, which causes the student to have some work. The brain can't tune out. Welcome, Rebecca. You're from Wisconsin. What do you think about her artwork? She's been working on it all week, just a little bit each day. It's awesome. She's got some butterflies and some flowers. Give her some love.
And clouds.
Yes. You've got 6 hearts already. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, integrating lots of sub-skills simultaneously and having paired contrast is key. The other thing that we're going to talk about today is the importance of increasing the challenge of phonemic difficulty. So we have down here CVC words. These are the easiest words. Consonant, vowel, consonant words like hat or hen or sat or sun. And as the words move up in difficulty, all the way up to CC, CV, CC words like straps, they become more phonemically challenging. It's harder to segment, blend, or manipulate words at this level. So what you do with Switch It is you continually push the level of challenge. You don't go consecutively through a word list. Instead of that, you look and see what's the highest level that the student can handle, and then you raise the level the next day. And when you do that, you push them really quickly through this sequence until they are just flying. And students can, within days, minutes, and certainly weeks, can they get to this top level, unless they're maybe 4 or 3 or really young 5s. Welcome, Jody. We're glad you're here. So when my student started, I started her here on Monday, but that was a little too easy for her. So then I moved straight up to here. And I tried at the end even one of these, but she did it. It was a little slower, but she did it. So then yesterday I pushed her up to here. And so now, what's left for me? I'm going to add some challenge, and by adding challenge, I'm going to increase it to nonsense level. Now, I don't recommend nonsense generally for K2 kids because there's plenty of real words for them to read, but nonsense can be especially helpful to develop that cognitive flexibility, because you can put lots of these hard words with hard consonant combinations in front of her one after the other. And I'm also going to keep working on the 2 vowels that she initially had trouble with, switching them back and forth so that she can get really strong at that. She just picked out something, but I would love to just have you switch that off. There's my little joke. And go to the activity with the letter sounds. How do you feel about that?
Very, very good.
Oh, what a great attitude. Thank you. So Anita, she's a 1st grade teacher from Louisiana. Glad you're here. And Jody is from Oklahoma City. Did I get that right? I don't know. Let me know. Okay, so let me get the boards in a place where everyone can see. Yes, she's getting to the highest level of nonsense. Welcome. If you just joined us, you are here for the Level Up Your Reader's Achievement in the Next 5 Days Challenge. This is day 3, but you can never fear, you can still catch up and learn a lot. We're moving her up from the hardest level of words like straps to a nonsense word. So this is all going to be nonsense, but still she's going to be challenging her phonemic awareness and mastering short vowels. Okay, so let's make up a word. Not real, right? Let's make up stressed. Stressed. Okay, separate it. Good.
What?
You want to say the word, the nonsense word? Stressed.
Rust.
Oh, we have to go off the board again. She's doing so well, we have to go off the board. Okay, so you did a great job. You got the stir, which is so hard, and she's even got one off the board. But guess what? I have one little thing to tell you. This is the same quirk from yesterday, so we're going to work on this and probably get better at it before the end of the day. So you actually have stressed. So we need stress. Oh, so look how quickly she pulled that out. You just elongate and exaggerate and point to where the error is, and she can do the work herself. I'm not doing the work. She is. Thank you. Tell me each sound.
Stressed.
Okay.
It's just like stress.
It's very close to stressed. You're right. Okay. How about, let's switch it to strunt. Strunt. Lynn, welcome back. Marcia, we're glad you're here. Ooh, snow days.
Wait, is Mark? Wait.
It's not probably your Marcia because she is from New England, I think.
Okay.
Or Nebraska.
Then she's not my art teacher.
Oh no. Okay, did you get strunt? Let's check it. Oh. And I'm being really nitpicky about the segmentation because that's what good readers have, is a very strong skill about her age. And let's think about it when you get to a really advanced word like multiplicative. If you don't have really good sharp observation of each sound being different, you're going to get to multiplicative and maybe say multiplicative and drop your L. And so this kind of cognitive flexibility that she's working on is going to make her much sharper for reading those multisyllable words. Let us know if you've tried Switch It and how your students have been doing. And if you're new, I'm Marnie Ginsberg with Reading Simplified. Thank you for being here. Okay, let's switch it from strunt to strent. Strunt to strent. Ooh. Wasn't a problem. She nailed it. I'm switching out the vowels that are harder for her. Okay, switch it to straunt. Okay, separate all these. Just one. You got the stir and then this ah. Ooh, it's like a tongue twister. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Can you say that?
No.
Okay.
That's my tooth.
Oh, she's got lost her tooth, so it makes it even harder. Understandable. Okay. Marcia says, yes, Nebraska, of course I should know that. I've been there several times. She loves Switch It. Great. So glad you're loving it. Let's switch this from straunt to strawst. Straunt to strawst. Only one switch. You had straunt. Switch it to strawst. So at first she moved the vowel, but she figured it out. Let's see. And the word is stressed. Okay. It's pretty funny. Okay, let's switch it to straunt. Back to straunt. Straunt. And I'm looking for letters while she's doing this to make a good word. Okay. And the word is great. Switch it to strond. Strond. It's from straunt to strond. And Lynn said she started the CBC list with her student and she's working with, but she's a little confused. Is that different from the Switch It, or do you use those lists and follow the instructions that say Switch It? So I'm not sure if you are talking about
Wait, what is the word again?
strand. So she has strad, but she needs strand. So if you're talking, Lynn, about this was the assessment, and it can help you figure out where to put your student. Yes, if your kids need to start out with CVC, you would probably choose the CVC word list and do an activity with just Sam on the board, and then switch Sam to sad, switch sad to had. And so my student here hasn't done that because she's further along the continuum. But wherever your students are in their ability to segment initially, then that's where you place them. If that doesn't make sense, let me know. Okay. Uh-oh, we lost the duck. Okay, you got strand. Switch it to strand. From strand to strand. You guys may be challenged too by this. It's pretty a lot of a mouthful, isn't it? Let me know if you have questions. Why am I doing this, or what would be good about it? And the word is? I'm not able to trick her. How about we switch it to strind? From strand to strind. Perfect. Okay, listen up. Sprind. From strind to sprind. Welcome. If you're just showing up, you're in day 3 of the Level Up Your Reader's Achievement in the next 5 days. And she is flying through this activity called Switch It.
What is it called?
Sprind. She can do 2 things. She can listen to me and tune me out and keep working on sprind. So that's talent. What are the sounds? And the word is? Sprind. So if you have a kid who's not anywhere near her level up here at the top of the phonemic awareness continuum, that's fine. Switch It is actually ideal for these kids. And if you haven't seen me work with a student who is much lower in their reading ability, I encourage you to go to readingsimplified.com, where you'll see a student who actually couldn't segment CVC words on the first day of the challenge that I did with him in November. And he moved within 5 days from CVC all the way up to, he did a few of these. And that was because of the paired contrasts, because of the increasing the phonemic difficulty, and because we were integrating all of the sub-skills of reading into one activity. Okay, Alicia asks, what is the appropriate number of switches in a word? Okay, so that's a good question. Normally I would do 1 because you don't want to overwhelm them, but guess what my little friend is going to do tomorrow? 2 switches. So that's kind of like the next thing off the charts. If she can do 1 with nonsense, with the hardest level that I can come up with phonemically, then she's going to get 2 challenges, 2 switches, okay? Sprind. Now I'm going to answer your question, comment, Lynn and Tracy, right after I get done with, actually let's do a real word. Sprint. To sprint is to run as fast as you can. Sprint. Tracy says, hello, we're glad you're here from Dallas, Fort Worth. And Lynn's confirming, yes, that's what she did. So then are the switch it instructions what I do, what I go to next was staying on the CVC words with her. The switch it instructions. I think so, if I'm understanding you. Maybe you can write more to me later and I'll respond in this thread. Let me know what you saw. If they were able to segment and manipulate CVC words, then you don't actually need to stay at CVC. You would go on to the next level, and that's what today's all about, pushing your child to the hardest level that they can handle. Again, they don't have to do it without your help, but with your help, how high can you get them? It's kind of like Vygotsky's zone of proximal development. When the teacher's there, the child's able to do quite a lot. Okay. Yes, Tracy's going to catch up with the videos and probably understand a little bit more. And if you haven't seen that video of the beginner at readingsimplified.com, it's the top video. I recommend it. It's only 5 minutes. Okay, how about 2 more and then you're going to have to hit the road. You doing okay?
Yeah.
Am I tiring you out?
No.
Okay, great attitude. Give her some love, folks. She's working hard and hanging with me. Okay, we had strind. Let's switch it to, oh, we didn't have strind. We had sprind. Sprint, sprint. Let's see if I can read. Sprint, okay, to run fast. Let's go back and switch it to nonsense. Sprunt. From sprint to sprunt. Good, Lynn. I'm glad that makes more sense. Okay, so I love it. So this is great. 2 times, yesterday and today, my young friend has put in the short O when she needed the short U, but today, for the first time, she figured it out on her own. I didn't actually give her feedback, and she nailed it. That's how Switch It works. What do you have? And the word is?
Run.
Awesome. Okay, here's a preview of tomorrow. Let's switch 2 things. Think you can listen really carefully? Switch sprunt to sprost. Sprunt to sprost. So this is 2 switches. Sprunt. You actually had sprunt. We're going to switch it to sprost. Woohoo! She can do 2 switches. All right. Give her some love. Thank you so much. You were awesome today. Do you want to take that page home to color it? Awesome. Take the one for your mom with the butterflies, okay? Thank you so much. We got up to at least 9 hearts. Way to go. Okay, so give me your questions. Let me know how your students have performed. And we can talk for a few more minutes about what Switch It can do, how I can help you match instruction for your students. And if you're new, let me know, and we can catch you up. Okay, Lisa, we're glad you're back from PA. You gave the assessments to your 5 lowest students. Okay, they did pretty well. Most will need to work with the CVC, and okay, so your students were here and here. Good, so that's how powerful it is. You get a little bit of diagnostic information and then you zoom right to what they need, and then you'll be surprised how fast you can move them on. Again, if you haven't been here the whole time, my young friend that I just worked with started here on Monday. It was too easy. I couldn't really find her a point of challenge, so I immediately moved her up to here, and I think I even did a little bit of this level. The next day I started here and moved her here. Today, I knew she was so good there yesterday, I moved her to the hardest thing I could think of, which is nonsense words, which is only for kids at her level. You don't need it for kids who are reading at the pre-K to 1st and maybe early 2nd grade level. But she is advancing, she can handle it, and when she gets that excellent at sound symbol correspondence and can perceive all the nuances, then she will be really well prepared to be a great speller. She'll be really well prepared to handle longer and longer multi-syllable words, and she will make fewer and fewer mistakes with her short vowel reading. So I expect that her fluency will pick up. So we're not doing connected text. We're not even doing real words anymore. But the undergirding of her whole reading system is being shored up right by this. So that's how powerful Switch It can be. What other comments or questions do you guys have? Because I am here to serve you, and let me know what your students did. If you've tried Switch It, what did you think of it? What doubts do you have? I'm not afraid of sharing, and listening to criticisms or how this differs. I know a lot of you in the previous couple of days have pointed out various differences between this and what your typical practice is. So it'd be kind of interesting if we want to spend some time comparing and contrasting that. But if you have questions, I'd love to hear them. So day 1, we learned how Switch It is so much more powerful because instead of doing isolated sub-skills all together, or separately, I should say, 10 minutes of letter sounds, 10 minutes of letter names, 10 minutes of oral only phonemic awareness, 10 minutes of decoding in isolation, 10 minutes of high frequency sight words. All of that is isolated and it takes up a ton of time. Instead, Switch It eliminates the need for all of that in isolation. I mean, I'm really saying you don't have to do almost any of this in isolation. All you need is Switch It to do most of what is in typical K2 curriculum, and the student will save a lot of time and also get so much more out of it. In fact, if a student knows as few as 3 or 4 letter sounds, I go straight to this activity. So they may be 4 and not be able to segment CVC words, but they know the consonants in their name. They can go straight to this activity and choose this early list with the short a, and they can learn short a in the context of this activity. And then you can build in a few more consonants too. So every day, in fact, you can see students add more and more consonants, more and more short vowels, because the paired contrasts, making the brain basically be quizzed over and over again, makes the brain tune in and memorize more rapidly. So Jennifer says, are we supposed to reassess after doing Switch It to see what new sounds they've learned? My students seem to have the new sounds during Switch It, and then when I reassess directly after, they didn't know them. An excellent point. So what you're doing here with Switch It is still somewhat controlled and scaffolded, because she has, for instance, my student, she only had 4 short vowels out on the table at any given time. And so another child might have had, if you're doing CBC, you only have, say, short A out, or maybe short A and short I. So that's kind of like recognition. Whereas if you gave the assessment, that's recall, and it's a higher standard. And that's fine that there's a difference. What will happen is that the difference will shrink across the course of the week. So I wouldn't recommend reassessing them every day, but when you actually just work with them, you can informally assess them. And what I did was I noticed 3 times this week, she's either made the error with short O and short U, and then the 3rd time she caught herself and she learned it. Now, does that mean she's never going to make a mistake again? No, but it is a developmental step up. So I'm going to keep challenging her with short U tomorrow, but she's getting it more and more in her brain. So when she sees it in reading, right now, will she get it 100% of the time? No, but will she be more likely to get it more often? Yes. And what I generally would recommend for this challenge is to reassess them at the end of the week to see what kind of growth you can kind of mark for the effort that you put into this challenge. But you can also observe quite a lot of growth just from the activity by making notes. So great question, Jennifer. And Marcia said, even though I had started with Switch It before the challenge by stumbling across your site earlier, my low kindergarten student has shown growth and confidence in reading CBC words. Great. Okay, I'm so glad to hear that. I'm glad you stumbled upon readingsimplified.com. And Marcia, if you had your student here, do you think that they can go up a level? I'd be curious to see if you could take them to the next level maybe tomorrow. What other comments do you guys have? Switch It, I was pointing out, I was just doing a review how it's more efficient to integrate things. Not only is it really about time savings, but what I find is this just makes more sense when everything is integrated, particularly for your struggling readers, kids who have weak phonological awareness naturally, kids who may have been exposed to literacy less than other kids. Well, when they do oral only phonological awareness, it may not make any sense and they don't know how it connects to words. Or if they do isolated letter sound practice and they just do t all day long, they may not get how it fits into words, sounds and words matching all together. So I find that Switch It more readily advances, particularly the lower 40% of the students I encounter. Dana says Switch It is giving confidence to the students she's working with. Excellent. I was just talking with another teacher this evening who is in our Reading Simplified Academy, and she was saying how she has seen, quickly saw a direct correlation into the students' ability to write, because they can perceive the sounds that they hear better in words, so they're more confident as they get them down. And they were already doing writing workshop type things, so this was a natural progression for them to become better at writing. And so Marcia, okay, you will move your student up too. Okay, after our snow days, that's right. Okay, so you guys are off too. Okay. So we talked about how Switch It saves time for you as a teacher and it makes more sense to kids. We talked about the importance of pairing contrasts and zeroing in on what's hard for your kids. If they don't know short E and they don't know short I, don't spend a week on short E. Don't spend a week on short I, but put them up against each other and get them to memorize it. It's kind of like when I was learning my times tables, I had trouble with like 7 times 6 and 8 times 8 and 9 times 7, some of those around that range. By having to be exposed to them over and over again, say with flashcards, I more quickly learn them. But if I had spent a week on just the 7s and then spent a week on just the 8s and never went back and had to put 7 times 7 up against 7 times 6 and 8 times 6, I wouldn't have been as sharp with my multiplication facts. And then the final thing that we're doing to accelerate our kids is increasing the phonemic challenge. So we're not just going to stay with one level because maybe they don't know all their short vowels or maybe they don't know all their consonants. That's okay. If they're able to segment and manipulate at this level, move them up this way. So you're basically, you have 2 diagnostic criteria in most activities, in most sessions with Switch It. You're asking yourself, how much letter sound knowledge is my student growing and gaining, and how much are they improving in their phonemic development? So those are 2 separate things to keep in mind to help you plan for instruction and pick a word list that is more challenging, or perhaps create one. And if you're having trouble and your kids are up here at this level, and it's hard to go from strip to strap and then what's the next word, you can start a new list, or you can maybe squeeze in a few nonsense words. Again, I don't like to do nonsense words with young kids that much because there are plenty of real words that they can learn, because if they see the word trip and trap in this kind of activity, they might actually remember it. And so we want to encourage them to have as many opportunities to see real words. But if you can slip in a few nonsense words, if they're higher along in the progression, then that's fine. All right, I think you guys have learned a ton of all the 3 main principles that I wanted to emphasize in this challenge. And if you think this has been beneficial, I would love for you to share it with your colleagues or friends. Tag them in this post or share it out to your community, or just give them a special text or PM them so that they know about this challenge and they can learn about Switch It. On Thursday, I'm going to have the opportunity for you to see all the material and get all the emails all in one place. So even if people haven't caught on from the beginning, they can still get a lot of value out of it. So thank you guys for being here, and I look forward to day 4 and what we're going to do tomorrow. Take care. Enjoy your snow day.